Hello, and welcome aboard another episode of the Captain's Lifestyle Podcast. This is your captain speaking, Taylor Morgan. On today's episode, I am joined by the Samuel Thomas Gordon Johnston, as well as Phil Welch, and we are at the Waken Ranch here in Minneapolis. I learned it's not Minneapolis, it is Minneapolis, Minnesota. And before we get into today's episode, it's going to be about VeeCon. That's what we're all here for, NFTs, what we learned this past weekend at VeeCon, the utility of NFTs, and then we're going to be going over some people we met up with there, some connections we made, as well as, I guess, overall health and wellness and some mysteries in the universe we might even get into. We will see where this conversation goes. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys that this episode is brought to you by Lambs, this EMF blocking beanie I've got on right now. And I was thankful that I traveled with it because in Minneapolis, there are 5G towers on nearly every single light post that you walk by. And then even in the stadium, US Bank Stadium, everybody is trying to find the Wi-Fi signal. There's what look like, what were those, Phil? Like cell phone tower
cell
blocks?
Phone extender. There's cell phone towers pretty much in the stadium. Yeah,
so EMF was off the charts, but I was wearing my beanie, so at least my head was protected. To get the hookup on anything from Lambs, head over to getlambs.com and enter code Captain Morgan. That will save you 10%. And also for each purchase, they donate 5 meals to Feeding America. So you not only get to protect yourself from the effects of oxidative stress, but you also get to feed 5 hungry families. So again, that's getlambs.com, enter code Captain Morgan. Next up, this podcast is brought to you by Ketone IQ from HVMN, which stands for Health Via Modern Nutrition. And these are exogenous ketones that amplify your mental and physical performance. So I take 2 shots before I exercise. It's really good for physical endurance. And I take 1 shot in the morning while fasted. And that I have found to work really well for mental clarity. So to get the hookup on these exogenous ketones from HVMN, head over to hvmn.com, enter code Captain Morgan 10. That will save you 10%. So optimize your brain, optimize your body, save 10%. And next up, this episode is brought to you by WaveBlock, which I cannot show you because I'm recording with my phone right now, but it is a EMF blocking sticker that just sticks on the back of your phone. So you are protected from the effects of oxidative stress. So I feel safe now keeping my phone in my pocket. With it on airplane mode, of course, and then with the WaveBlock stickers, just that added layer of protection. They also make stickers that wrap around your AirPods, so you're not getting the Bluetooth radiation from that. To get the hookup on anything from WaveBlock, head over to waveblock.com, enter code Captain Morgan. That will save you 20% for being a listener of the Captain's Lifestyle Podcast. Next up, I want to talk about Bioptimizers and Utopia, and I've got this little fanny pack. And yes, there is still a magnesium in here that I didn't use from today. So this is Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers. Just take that right now. And magnesium plays a role in over 300 different bodily functions, most notably things like stress and deep sleep and muscular recovery, digestion, brain health, you name it. And our soils have been depleted of magnesium, so we got to supplement with it. And Magnesium Breakthrough is the most comprehensive magnesium supplement that I've been able to find. It's super high quality, and it works tremendously. I take usually 1 in the morning, 1 sometime in the afternoon, and always 2 to 3 at night. So to get the hookup on that, go to magbreakthrough.com/Taylor. That will get you an exclusive discount on magnesium. Also from Bioptimizers, their company Newtopia. This is the last ad that we'll go through. Oh, I just realized I threw it away because I took the last of it. I was going to talk about Xamaner Juice. We were squirting that stuff in our mouths the whole entire weekend for a nice little boost of neurotransmitters for social situations. It works really well. It's got GABA, L-theanine, CABA. So again, really good for social situations, for kind of taking the like taking the edge off if you're in social situations. Helps you relax. Yeah, helps you just be able to have conversations and talk and feel more empathy and compassion and overall feeling of positivity. So to get the hookup on Xamaner Juice and all the other custom nootropics from Nootopia, head over to nootopia.com/Taylor. That will save you an exclusive amount of money on the only 100% customizable nootropics on the market. Again, that's nootopia.com/Taylor. And now let's get into the episode. So, fellow V friends, well, I guess not really, just
for the weekend.
Yeah. VeeCon pass holders for the time being. You have a hair, Sam, on your chin, and
I'm growing it out.
Can you just, that's going to bug me. There we go. It was a long one. So I had 3 V friends, and I'm only one person, so I got to bring you guys along. I've got the Podcast Panther, the Gift Goat, and the very rare Like a Sponge. And one VeeCon ticket for myself. I gave one to Phil Welch for helping me out with some things with the Captain's Lifestyle. And then I gave one away to the winner of my VeeCon ticket giveaway, which was Andrew something. I forget his last name right now. Andrew started with a W. He might not even want me to mention his name on the podcast, so I'll leave it at that. Andrew W. won the giveaway, but unfortunately he couldn't actually attend VeeCon. He just wanted the ticket, so I brought my good friend Samuel Thomas Gordon Johnston along, who also submitted to win the ticket. So guys, welcome to the Captain's Lifestyle podcast.
And thanks a lot for bringing us. I really appreciate that. It was a unique experience that not a lot got to experience, and it's cool being at the first one of these.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to talk a little bit louder if it's, you could just move it closer to you towards the end there. Yeah.
And I know I didn't officially win, but that was a pretty sweet participation prize. So thank you for that.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, glad you guys could make it. It's been a good time. So let's get into it. So you guys both came in not knowing really anything much about V-Friends specifically.
Right. We know a lot about crypto.
Yeah.
Compared to some other people, we don't know anything, but we know a lot about crypto and NFTs a little bit. But this was interesting just to really dive into and see what Gary's done to this entire, the V Friends. What would you call it? It's not just like
community
of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So what were some of the things that stood out to you guys about V Friends specifically before we get into the conference as a whole?
I had no idea how big of a star Gary Vaynerchuck was for people.
How fanatic his fans are, too.
He has serious fans. And I'm very familiar with his social media presence. I know who he is. I know his companies, but I watch it and I consume his content, but I'm not an avid fan. I don't read all of his books or, I'm not the first guy to sign up on his email list or anything like that. But it was really impressive to see the community that he's built simply through documenting his journey over the past 15 years.
Yeah. Phil? In the V-Friends hoodie?
Yeah.
So something stood out.
Oh yeah, you're in the community now.
I'm in the community now that I
Those were going
sweater. These are going
$500
for
right?
$500 to $700. Someone was telling me they saw one go for over $1,000.
Wow.
But I waited in the line for 2.5 hours the first day. I'm like, I think these look like they're going to be important or like unique.
Yeah.
But the hoodies were like $110, but I'm not going to sell it just in case Taylor takes me to another one of these. It might be cool in a year or two to have V-Friends 1 sweater.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's one of my favorite parts about NFTs and just collectibles in general is the uniqueness of like the fact that you could only get that sweatshirt if you attended this conference. Like the rarity behind it.
It has from V-Friends 2, right? Just a bunch of patches on it. If you don't see the video. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I was surprised there weren't any V-Friends 1, Series 1 characters.
Just a bunch of cartoon characters on the sweater.
Yeah. Watch the YouTube video if you guys are just listening.
I guess you could make your own Series 1 Podcast Panther merch.
I don't...
Or are you not allowed to do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
If you own...
Because we don't... It's not like I own the rights to Podcast Panther.
Okay.
You know, like Gary absolutely does that or owns that. So I don't know the legal things behind that. But anyways, now let's get into your overall takeaways from the conference. Like what stood out?
The biggest takeaway for me has been the importance of documenting your journey if you want to be an entrepreneur, and how we live in an age where your content is a form of currency. And I think Gary is a great example of someone who has this media empire simply because he was transparent about his own journey and process in building the businesses that he was building. I think that's really cool. If you took someone from 100 years ago and planted them into today's world, social media would probably be like the craziest thing they've ever seen. And there is a dark side of social media, and there are negatives that exist in the world because of it. But if used in the right way, it can be an incredible tool to build your own platform, audience, brand, and company.
Yeah, documentation is... and that's something you've been getting better at.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks to you too. You've been a huge inspiration for that. So
yeah, I appreciate it.
I had a ton of imposter syndrome and limiting beliefs and barriers that I had to break through to get more consistent with my content production. And I've made huge strides. My business has grown. My confidence with creating online content has gotten a lot better. And I know I've got another level to go. So I think it's a process of, you know, even Gary, a year from now, 2 years from now, will be better at creating content than he is today. It's a process of continuous improvement, and it's been fun.
I'm kind of like the same place with NFTs, where it's like I'm really confused how some of these things can go for so much money. But at the same time, when you really see how much Gary's put into VeeFriends and building his brand and name around it, it's like, it seems like at the end of the day, it's gonna be probably one of the most legit NFT projects. That's not just art. Just because he's trying to add and building his whole, like the rest, he promises to put the rest of his life into this, which is pretty fascinating. And there's so many directions he can go, and he's looking so far ahead that it's hard to really know what he's gonna do with it. But you can just tell after this, you can kind of start to see the direction he's going, and it's fascinating. To see an NFT project kind of work itself out as a community. But I was going to say my biggest takeaway is the Marky Jet guy, and just listen his speech
Jessie
talking
Itzler.
about saying, are you ever tired? It's like, what is it?
The craziest thing, I'm never tired.
Yeah,
never
the
get
craziest
tired.
thing.
So the whole story is Jessie Itzler was up there talking about how they were, him and what was the Navy SEAL's name? Chris?
I don't know.
I forget. He was with a Navy SEAL who he trained to help him basically become more mentally tough and to train for this 100-mile race. And on like mile 70 or whatever it was, when they were clearly struggling and it was cold outside and their feet hurt and all these things, the Navy SEAL turned to Jessie and was like, "Hey, you want to know something crazy? It's the weirdest thing. I never get tired." On mile 70 of like 100-mile race, like of course they're physically tired, but it's going back to the language thing that we've been talking about for a while now. It all goes back to the words. Like if you tell yourself you're not tired, you're not going to be tired.
This was probably the only guy, he gave the best speech, but it wasn't on anything to do with NFTs.
And
everyone else tried to stay on subject with NFTs, but this one was really good.
Yeah, there was a little bit too much NFT talk for me personally, because I'm not really in that space. But it makes sense that it was more focused, because that's what most people are there for, I feel like. But like Tom Bilyeu and Steve Aoki were there, and they talked primarily about their NFT project, which is interesting, but I'd really rather hear like a Tom Bilyeu, Steve Aoki podcast on just life in general.
Yeah, life, business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Jessie Itzler, his talk wasn't related to NFTs or crypto really at all. And so yeah, that was a good one. That was fun. I don't get tired. And then we switched that around to I don't get cold.
Yeah.
When we were walking to Qigong.
Don't get cold. I don't get nervous.
In the morning with Certified Health Nut.
Yeah. Troy Casey.
Yeah. Shout out to Troy Casey.
Yep.
It's at Certified Health Nut on Instagram. We did Qigong with him on Saturday morning. It was like, 42 degrees?
Around there. Was that the first time?
During sunrise.
Was that the first time you had done Qigong?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Are you going to do it anymore?
Yeah, that was Sam. Was when I got up to go find one of those sweatshirts, I saw Sam up there, and I was walking up to him like I had invisible lat syndrome.
Yeah.
And then he talked about how he was just doing Qigong.
I had to take a call in the park, and I figured while I was on the call, I was swinging my arms back and forth.
I didn't do a full session. I did about 5 minutes this morning. I don't know if I count it as, I'm trying to do the 100 days in a row that he says to do.
We'll stop trying.
Yeah, so I need to change my language. I'm going to do 100 days.
There you go.
Starting tomorrow.
Well, you started today, didn't you?
I want to say I don't count it because it wasn't a full, but I was like,
you didn't come at it with that.
I'm going to do it.
Intention.
I had a busy morning.
Yeah. I eat blueberries like it's my job.
Oh, I don't need to tell myself that. That's already happening.
That's a Gary Vee quote. There's like a video of him eating blueberries. It's like, make sure the mic's on. I eat blueberries like it's my job.
I eat blueberries like it's my job. We missed the first 30 I ate. Look at this. Look at this. There used to be blueberries here. Like it's my job.
How do you eat so fast? That's one thing I've noticed. You just like devour food when you're eating.
Because I'm trying to accomplish shit out here. People use fucking lunch and dinner as an excuse not to do. I'm on to you, fuckfaces.
Did you guys hear when I interviewed Gary? I opened with the blueberry smoothie story.
Yep.
Where I shit my pants like blueberries.
That was an eye-opening, or that was an attention-grabbing story to start the podcast with.
He loved it.
Yeah.
Started laughing. But yeah. So yeah, who else was at VeeCon? We got Tom Bilyeu and Steve Aoki, which I was really excited for. Not that I was necessarily disappointed with the talk. I just didn't want it all to be about NFTs.
Yeah.
I think Tom is so fascinating as an interviewer, the way that he does a lot of homework on his guests and like asks the right questions and just listens and lets them talk. So he's who I get a lot of my inspiration from podcasting. And then Steve Aoki is just a legend in the music space. Like he's been doing it for like 40 years.
40?
Maybe not 40, but
how old is
like
that guy?
30 years.
Okay.
He's like 40.
I didn't realize he's like into.
I don't know. He's been doing it for a long fucking time.
He's almost
DJ
into
since
like
the age of 3.
transhumanism. You know, like we learned he's gonna freeze his body.
Yeah.
He already paid. The money
cryogenically frozen.
He's gonna freeze his body so he can be woken up in 200 years.
Well, have you? I told you about this. I think Aoki's Playhouse on Instagram.
No, I don't know about it.
Yeah, look that up. Aoki's Playhouse on Instagram. He basically has. I don't know if it's his house or like another warehouse or something like Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory type thing. But he's got a house with like a ball pit that he has guests come over and jump from like the second story into the ball pit.
Wow.
Like
He's got a fun house.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Like a pool that you can dive off of. Just a bunch of cool stuff.
Maybe he'll have his frozen body on display at his fun house.
Yeah, and it's just it's like a tourist attraction.
Yeah. People would pay money to see that.
Yeah, turn your house, and then you'll be rich when you wake up.
Right.
Because it was
you can profit. You can have an NFT series of your frozen body.
Like you can fractionalize your body like, as if
yeah, what body part would you buy?
You know what body part.
There's so many specifics.
You can that's like of course you're gonna buy that body part.
What body part?
Whatever body part you're thinking of. So the mushrooms are starting to hit.
What mushrooms?
I took mushrooms before recording this podcast.
We're gonna put that.
Did you have any?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Film a little bit.
Yeah.
We had a little tequila with it, so it's like you feel that or the mushrooms.
So I'm seeing the colors changing. Greens are very green, purples and pinks. It's cool.
Is my face twitching out yet?
Twitching?
Yeah.
No, did your face twitch?
No.
For me, sounds can stand out too when you start to feel them.
Those blueberries are good. Good call on the snacks.
But we're just out in my, what we call it, the Waken Ranch, but it's just a nice little patio with backed up to the Mississippi. Nobody really back there, and it's just a lot of woods.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing some men's retreats.
Yeah.
Hey, you
Back
have
here,
the perfect space
right?
for it.
Yeah,
We're
after
thinking of
this.
doing it kind of maybe like a camping retreat, because I just think it'd be fun to, it'd be like glamping, because we'll have my house, but it's also fun just to like sleep on the ground in the backyard. Might have like do it up. Everyone gets like a tent with coming and a pad, and who knows what.
Well, let's not announce too much.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to keep the hype up.
Yeah, we got to think about it first. But yeah, definitely ice baths, hot tub, which we're gonna be doing tonight.
Maybe a
Workouts.
sauna.
Yeah,
Sauna.
Yeah.
you can rent like those barrel saunas.
Oh,
that,
cool.
It'll be like a 10-person sauna.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Who knows what else would think of a couple things to do. I want it to be real cool.
it will be real cool.
It'll be really
We
fucking cool.
wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be a good time when it actually does happen. So Snoop Dogg was also there. He closed it out.
With his son.
Yeah.
His son was really good too.
Champ.
Sounded just like him. You'd see like kind of the mellow, like kind of sounded like sounded like Snoop Dogg in a lot of ways.
I like that name rebrand. Champ.
Yeah, he like corrected Gary in the middle of talking. What's his actual name?
Carvel, I think.
No, it was something other than that.
No, I think that's right. Let me look. I'm gonna do this live on the fly.
Live on the fly.
Logan Paul was there.
Oh yeah, Logan Paul.
I'm a big fan of Logan Paul. I wish it was just a little better.
With
interview.
Liam something, the guy
Direction.
from One
Liam
Direction.
Payne.
Yeah.
Liam Payne.
Yeah, Logan Paul is a smart dude. He released an NFT that's I was hoping would be more interesting. But
Cordell.
It's got
Cordell.
a good use case of helping, money going towards something, but it's through a DAO, which is a decentralized autonomous organization. So those people who own the NFT get to decide where the money goes, and I'm guessing that money keeps funding in there as they sell them. But there's only 100 of them. I'm sure they'll go for a decent amount of money.
Sam, you want to talk about your skepticisms about
for
NFTs?
sure.
I think this is an interesting conversation.
Yeah. So, like NFT and Web3 and, NFTs, Web3, blockchain, like all these buzzwords are getting thrown around, and the banners that are getting flown are it being a more inclusive, more diverse internet with more accessibility and inclusivity, right? Like we heard panel speakers talk about that ad nauseum this weekend.
Yeah, they use a lot of the buzzwords.
Yeah.
And it's not like I don't understand what an NFT is. Like I totally understand the concept of a digital collectible. And I think that if you care about digital collectibles,
Well,
if you're someone,
NFT has nothing to do with digital collectible.
no, but that is a use case for it.
One of
Yes.
the main ones right now.
I would say probably the main use case for it. It's really
In general,
Yeah.
you're saying, yeah.
in general,
Yeah.
and it really seems like this is like the primary use case that most people are focusing on today. And
Which I disagree with. I don't disagree with people doing that, but I don't think that's why most of these projects are going to fail.
Yeah.
Because not everything can be that collectible, you know, like
Right.
there's only one Beanie Babies, right? Like there's so many other stuffed animals that just are worth nothing, right? So because so many people are putting all of the emphasis behind it being cool at the time, that's why most of these projects are going to fail, and why we instead need to look at the utility, which is another buzzword that gets thrown around, I guess you could say, behind the project, whether that's amazing multi-day conferences that you get access to, or Podcast Panther, where you get to, or whatever it is.
For sure.
Like we heard about music NFTs and how you can, have the rights to that song? Like you can
See, that's what I don't.
you can make it whatever you want, really.
I understood the art of not giving a fuck guy talking about how
Mark Manson.
Yeah, he was he did it to his book, and then you could own
A paragraph
or
or
something.
Like a quote of the book, and you can make merchandise with that quote without there being any copyright
And
issues.
you got to be a
or-
real like geek about the book. Like you got to really love that book or really like that quote, and you got to own that. And there's probably only going to be tiny sections of a book that are worth a lot, but it's still kind of cool to start experimenting with something.
And
like
it's that on top of the community. Because remember, he said that he has the not give a fuck community or whatever it is.
So if you own one of those, then you get to be a part of the community.
It's like the Captain's Lifestyle crew. Like when I come out with NFTs, they're like going to have lifetime access as long as they're a holder of it.
Yeah, what I like about replacing like monthly memberships or fees. Jeremy was talking about this because
Jeremy Abramson
yep,
at Coach Jeremy on Instagram.
Coach Jeremy 305.
he dropped his
there you
first NFT, which is only one thing, and the person got a pair of shoes, and is like he advertised it on it like his words of like, for 3 years you'll be my buddy, training part like what we do one-on-one training or something, or I'll be your lifestyle coach in a lot of ways. So
Yeah.
and the guy I think paid like $60K plus for it. But it's kind of a cool idea if you break that into more pieces, and it's more of like a membership. And a lot of these you're betting, like with Gary Vee, you're betting on him as a creator.
Yeah.
If you created an NFT, I'm betting on you
As a person.
I'm gaining value like of something I want, like to be a part of things I learn from you, or to be a part of when we do men's retreats, and who knows what else you can do. But you're betting on people will want this more in the future, so you might be able to make money from it. You could.
Well, that's what Tom Bilyeu was talking about. Remember, he said if that's how you're basing what you invest in NFTs, he said it shouldn't be on that. It should be on, will somebody want to own this?
But in some way, it's kind of cool to get the benefit while you're doing it, and say like, worst comes to worst, I'm betting that what I'm having here I can sell to somebody else. So like a wine membership, I'm paying a lot of money for, maybe somebody might pay like $50,000 for a wine membership, but they're getting free wine, and then they could sell that maybe for $100,000 in a year when they don't want to get wine anymore. If that makes sense.
Why would you not want to get wine anymore?
Just saying, like, I think that's a good way to like.
He's getting ready for baby number
in some
two.
way, you're like, in some way,
brother.
it's kind of cool to be able to monetize off some, like the person buying the thing can monetize. Just like you can sell your Gary Vee friends if you wanted to. But
if I didn't want to be cool anymore
right now, and
if I didn't
Gary
want to be
Vee's
a
doing,
sugar daddy for my friends anymore,
he's do you call it minting? He's dropping you guys different NFTs to create more value. Like
with the gift scope.
For example, you got tickets that are
Well, you got your
NFTs.
series 2.
Yeah, that's true. And then you get the VeeCon tickets,
Right,
which are
VeeCon.
also NFTs, and then like the Snoop Dogg collaboration.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the Snoop Dogg collaboration with him. Who knows what Snoop Dogg's gonna do? But he might drop songs.
They made
in
it
some
seem
way.
like it's going to be something big.
So you may have paid a couple $1,000s for a VeeCon ticket, even if you weren't a V friend, because somebody sold the NFT they got from holding a V friend. But they might get that money back holding that down the road when they get the Snoop Dogg collab. It's just it's crazy how many things you can do. NFTs on top of NFTs.
Yeah, the ones. Again, it's betting on the people.
Smaller creators, you're probably going to keep it
yeah.
a lot more simple than Gary Vee. It's pretty complex.
The ones who do it, right, are going to succeed beyond our wildest dreams.
Yeah.
Like, they're the first ones to be doing something like this. And because you get like a percentage of each resale, like Gary does. And also a percentage goes towards certain charities. But like it's just what's that word, like automatic money? What's that
Printing
called?
money?
No.
Passive income?
Yeah, passive income. It's
one,
just like,
the one thing I had never thought of was,
and then that will go into further developing VeeFriends. And
like when Snoop
More
Dogg
and more.
talked, he's got that ape with the army helmet. I don't know, I forget what he
Dr.
calls
Bombay.
it. Yeah,
from the Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Yeah, and he is going to create products or a brand around that.
So with that, just to clarify, VeeFriends, if you buy one, you don't get the exclusive rights to that character.
Yes.
Apparently with Bored Ape Yacht Club, if you own that specific one, you have complete rights to whatever you want to do.
And using that, so he'll use that as a brand. It's kind of interesting. I never thought of that before.
Yeah.
And if that becomes profitable for him, that only happened because he's Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
So that's like, we can't pretend like that value in terms of the IP is inherent in a Bored Ape, because you could own Dr. Bombay and your Dr. Bombay clothing line wouldn't pop off like Snoop Dogg.
I don't know.
Like, Snoop
I
Dogg-
might
What
buy
if,
it, Phil.
what if I blasted like?
Sorry, that's not an attack on
What
you.
if I
Like,
what if I bought a bunch of ads? I'll buy a Bored Ape, and then I buy a bunch of ads, and I blast my Bored Ape, so people know it for like somehow they just know it because I blasted them with some sort of advertising, and then I sell it for more because of that. I don't know.
Well, yeah, you absolutely could flip it if that's what that's not what we're talking
That's not
about,
a good
though.
example, though. I just found it fascinating that he was going to build a brand around his NFT.
Yeah.
Around a brand he already has, which is Snoop Dogg. I don't know.
You mean like versus him creating his own
Yeah,
character, like his own animated?
of him.
right.
Whatever.
That's
But
what I was
everyone
thinking.
knows that that's Snoop Dogg's ape.
I think it's because
It's like there's hype around the NFT, so he can tap into that hype.
yeah, Bored Ape Yacht Club already had a
brand.
cult following and branding behind it. Whereas if Snoop Dogg just created that, I don't think it would be as cool as the Bored Ape Yacht Club thing. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how smaller audience leaders or, people that are in the coaching space or social media space, if and how they use this technology moving forward.
and again, that's I think why we need to get away from viewing it as primarily a collectible. Because if I made a collectible, or if not me, because I have confidence in myself and I'm gonna make it so somebody would want to collect the first NFT that I made.
Let's do this thought experiment. Let's pretend tomorrow that you create an NFT for the Captain's Lifestyle community. How is that any different than what you're currently doing with them?
It depends on what utility I would put behind it
If they get the same
Okay, so give
utility
me-
as signing up, so let's say
for the program.
one-on-one
I
coaching.
wouldn't. That's not
But
what
I'm
it
just
would
saying,
be.
it just as an example for somebody out there who's it just as an example though. Then they would be getting the service, and then they could sell what they had gotten in a year, possibly, and then they really didn't spend anything at all.
So then you're on the hook to give, like in that scenario, now you have to give a year of coaching to the
wonder
next
how-
guy who
I wonder
buys
how-
it.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
I'm missing. I'm disconnected.
So give me and maybe
That's not
anytime-
at all what I would do. with
right.
mine.
Yeah,
So
okay.
give me your best case scenario of how an NFT would add more value to the Captain's Lifestyle community or the clients. Like the best possible scenario that you can think of right now.
Yeah, it's hard.
Well, it would be access. So
To you.
access to
Get to
the Captain's Lifestyle crew. So as long as they're a holder of that, they don't have to pay the monthly subscription fee.
Right.
So they would get access to the crew. They would get access to me. Like that could be like a discount on in-person events or just free access to in-person like men's retreat events like we're talking about. It could be an interview on a podcast. Like they come on and I interview them on the podcast. It could be we go on a one-on-one camping trip, like super high performance, like one-on-one for a whole week. It could be that. Like it could be what?
I think I've seen that movie before.
What? Oh my God.
Is that what you were thinking too?
Phil.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you laughing at? God.
Brokeback Mountain with Captain Taylor Morgan.
That NFT's not gonna.
We don't have to get into my Instagram into my Instagram DMs on this podcast that these guys are referring to.
So, like, I understand everything that you're talking about, and I still don't see how the fact that you're now using an NFT gives you any additional functionality than it would be if you're just like, hey, I have this higher ticket offer, and this is everything that you get, and it costs $100,000 or whatever.
To me, it's betting on the creator.
Okay, yeah. So it's like, but here's the thing.
At that point,
it
becomes a collectible.
And all you're doing at that point is you're hoping to resell it for more at a later date.
Maybe I know that the retreats are going to cost way more in the future. Or access to that NFT. If he's going to go all the route of the NFT. So like, let's say,
I wish one of us, like I wish we had like an NFT expert on here that could
even
like with us
interesting
that could talk about these things, because I don't.
He's actually rolling out one, and I tried to talk to him a little bit more, but he's doing what we're talking about with his platform of coaching.
So let me ask you this: if you didn't have a V friend, how much were the tickets for this weekend? Like 2,500?
I haven't checked, but I'm imagining they're somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000.
So let's say it's 2,000.
I don't know. You want to? Can you
I
look
saw
that
one sell for 10 Ethereum.
Holy shit!
Just a ticket?
No,
I was looking.
Phil, a ticket to VeeCon.
But they were about 1,500.
Yeah, not 10.
But I was looking at
Ethereum.
OpenSea just to see if the price had went up now that once Snoop Dogg
Announced that.
So I want to keep an eye on that, see what they're.
Yeah, we're talking about.
And then
before.
the
Like
website,
$2,000.
I couldn't get it to.
We'll just say $2,000.
It like almost crashed on me. I couldn't search anymore. Yeah, let's look it up.
Yeah, it seems like they're all around like half an
There's a
Ethereum.
half an Ethereum now. Switch is about $1,000 bucks.
Ethereum.
Well, now that the event
it's
is completely over,
Yeah,
I see.
so
I wonder what they were selling at the day before the event.
Right.
That's what I was trying to look.
I'm imagining somewhere like $2,000.
Okay.
Yeah, 1,500, $2,000.
Yeah, there's still some up here for 1 Ethereum.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there we go.
So if it was $2,000, would you pay $2,000 for that event?
No.
Okay. I think that's concerning. You just had like, and I get it was year one, so there will be.
You mean
developments.
me going like knowing what I know now about the event?
Yeah.
Or like before, would I have paid $2,000?
Well,
if I didn't have a V friend.
Let's say after, like knowing what you know now, would you, and you didn't have a ticket, would you pay $2,000 to go to the
Are you talking about me personally? Because
somebody
I wouldn't change anything in my life because it led me to this exact moment right now.
Okay, well, let's
If we're
say,
getting-
let's say for next year.
Okay.
Let's say you have the opportunity right now to save a ticket for $2,000 and it's going to be the same level of value that you got from this weekend. Would
Which
you buy
it
that
won't
ticket?
because it's going to get progressively better. Okay. I see what you're saying.
The fact that you're dodging the question, you're saying no.
I wonder if anyone that went to that
No.
was disappointed by.
I would say
That was such a hard conference to put on.
No, I would say yes because of the because of the connections.
Yeah.
Like meeting people in person, like getting to meet Ricky, getting to meet Jeremy, getting to meet Matt, who I already had met
Troy.
before, but you met, Troy, getting to meet, who am I forgetting?
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, it's,
There's a lot
you can't
of
put a
health
price on
influencer kind of
the
people
connections.
from Instagram on that.
Yeah.
That was there, and I was surprised by that personally. I thought it was going to be mostly kind of more NFT geeks, but it really was a lot of Gary Vee fans.
Fanatics.
Yeah, and I didn't know how fanatic they were.
That's one of the V friends is like 5, I think it's like 55555 fanatic. It's like 5 times, and then fanatic is one of the series 1.
Wow.
And Gary Vee is so positive. The vibes of that was kind of cool.
At the end, how he ended it was so fucking
I wish
cool.
the president would get up and say that. Like the president of the United States.
Well, remember on our podcast, he was talking about
he could be.
how
But it was
he
all
could,
on that subject.
wishing he could run for president, and how, you know, that's what he
The
was talking
subject:
about.
we need more kindness. We need more. Is it not forgiveness, but the ability
Empathy.
Empathy. and-
Listening to other people, and instead of like when somebody shits on you, don't shit back on them because they're coming from such a place of hurt themselves. It's like anytime you insult somebody else, you have to be coming from a place of you don't love yourself and there's some hurt that's happening in you. So instead of throwing shit back at them, just saying like, hey, like maybe not as creepy as that, but
Yeah, I felt like
you know, like, hey man, like what's going on?
I tried to embody
what are you
that.
going through?
I had somebody. I was tailgating them, not on purpose, but they got out
Oh
of
yeah,
their
this
car
story is crazy.
And I was thinking that almost, or at least in that. I wanted to give the guy a hug. I almost wish I got out of the car and gave the guy a hug. But he was like yelling at me at first, and then about being too close to him, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I didn't do anything to try to upset you." And
It's
I said,
crazy.
I'm sorry, whatever's going on that made you so upset about this. And then he kind of just like off guard, and then he was like, "Oh, you seem like a really cool guy." Like almost, he didn't want to apologize because it's kind of embarrassing, but you know, he calmed down immediately. It was kind of interesting to see that.
It's crazy the stories that people will tell themselves that cause them to get all worked up.
But if I had like flipped him off and like, "Fuck you, you're crazy," or something like that, like it could have gotten ugly, I guess.
Well, yeah. But so this guy thought you were tailgating him. You had no idea. You were oblivious to it.
Yeah.
He's in his head creating this story that this guy is pissed off that I'm driving so slow, and he's stressing himself
Slams
out
on his brakes. Like I was like
Imagine living in that state.
thinking I would like brake check, which is kind of dangerous. And I didn't even react to that. I was just kind of like, I wonder what's going on. And and then he got out of his car, and it was kind of funny to not react to it. React with kindness. Yeah.
Always.
He didn't seem like a bad guy. It just seemed like he was having a
bad
rough
day.
minute.
Yeah. I love how Gary Vee ended it that way on kindness.
We got Louis scratching on the door. Come say hey, Lou. Come here.
Louis
Come here.
Louis is one of Phil's
Boston Terriers.
Boston Terriers.
Boston Terriers. Yep.
Louis and then Pepper.
I might have to feed them real quick.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Pepper,
Hey, Louis, come up here.
we could have them on the podcast. They can make an appearance.
Oh, we'll get Liam.
This is why I'd like to have a camera like there
To
so they
get
could
all
just
that.
see the whole thing. What's up, Liam?
Have you ever had a
Liam
1.5
is
year
Phil's
old on your
son.
podcast?
I have not. If he could talk,
I feel like he has something to say.
if he could talk, I would bring him out here. Phil, I said if Liam could talk, we could feature him on
Hey,
the
Liam.
podcast.
Yeah. Can you say something?
Hey, buddy.
There we go. That's something. I think the mic's picked that up.
Yeah, the mic definitely picked that up. Liam, do you have anything to say? We got the whole family out here.
Yeah, it's getting red on there. A lot of noise coming from that noise. Do the dog noise. That's the kind of sounds that they
What
make.
do your dogs sound like?
Yeah.
The microphone was picking that up. Okay, so we'll wrap it up with this. Starting with Phil, what are you most excited for?
Pretty excited for some food.
Sam, what are you most excited for? This fucking guy.
I'm also excited for food,
But
but
like,
I would say I'm most excited to continue to make a bigger impact with my own business and scale it, grow it, help people build the body of their dreams, and just keep helping people with that really, really important area of their lives, which is way too neglected for so many people in this country.
yep, shout it out.
Yeah, stateofalpha.com. Or you can check out my Instagram at the Samuel Johnston if you are a man and if you want to get in the best shape of your fucking life, both physically and mentally.
Yeah, Sam has been showing us one progress pic in particular.
Oh yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do. All the other fitness coaches that just talk about fitness but don't actually have
They're not walking the walk.
hardcore transformation photos to back up their results. That to me is a red flag. I show you exactly the process that my clients go through. And if you're ever talking to a fitness coach and they can't show you transformations that causes you to stop and say, wow, and for you to be really impressed by those, I don't think you should be working with that fitness coach.
100%.
So if you want to actually get the results that you've been wanting to get and you want to learn how to maintain those results for the next decade, 2 decades of your life, 3 decades of your life, that's exactly what I help people with.
Nice.
And Phil's just excited about food.
What I was gonna say, maybe the balls.
Phil's excited about food and balls.
I'm going to release a product this week that's some hanging balls.
How low do they hang?
I think I'm gonna call them just hanging balls. I'd almost have to edit in
That's gonna
a
be-
video of what it
It's gonna
means.
be a, that product's gonna be a hit.
This is plenty of content right here. Just put this
So,
on TikTok. It'll sell.
It's a coordination game. It's just I have them 2 places in my house at least, but we've been playing with them all weekend.
We've been playing with his balls all weekend.
I can't. Oh my god.
Taylor, your followers are gonna love this.
I can't right now.
You just have to tell them that that's part of your NFT. It'll sell tomorrow.
You can get them at shopwaken.com.
No, we have to tell them.
7-day access to.
We have to tell them what it actually is. We can't just say it's hanging balls that we've been playing with. We have to tell. You have to tell them what it's good for.
So it's I want to call them like almost like a fidget spinner 2.0. So like at night or during the day while I'm watching Liam and I'm bored, I will play. It's a coordination game where it's almost juggling balls that are hanging and. We might have to edit this out. I don't know, but we'll see.
So it's a piece of wood. It's a 2x4 with
Not quite
2
a 2 by
feet.
4. Yeah, and I'm going to do. It's going to come in 3 colors. It's going to be black, white.
And what? What's the third color? Jesus.
Mahogany.
Why is that a big deal?
I think we need to end it. So mahogany.
Okay. All right. That's the end of the podcast.
That was a great podcast.
Leave him hanging.
Okay, that's it.
That was great.